The western interior of North America. A rugged landscape now marked by the expansive Great Plains, arid deserts, and the towering Rocky Mountains, bears the secrets of diverse, bygone worlds in its rock record. Among the best understood geologic formations within this region are the beds of the Hell Creek, whose fossil-rich sediments were laid down during the Maastrichtian age of the late Cretaceous period, the twilight of the age of dinosaurs. The Hell Creek Formation is distributed throughout eastern Montana and western portions of North and South Dakota. The name of the formation is derived from its type locality, the exposures along Hell Creek near the town of Jordan, Montana. Deposits of equivalent age and similar fauna are found in Wyoming's Lance Formation, along with the Canadian Schollard and Frenchman formations, found in Alberta and Saskatchewan respectively. Together they make up what is known as the Lancian Paleobiota. These sun-baked badlands are among the prime fossil hunting grounds in the world, and help shed light on ancient life which existed before and after one of Earth's most devastating mass extinctions. Thanks to the semi-arid climate and pronounced seasonality of the American West, the forces of wind, rain, and frost carve out the soft sediments and expose the fossils to the elements, existing on the surface for only a brief window of time before eventually turning to dust. Turning the clocks back over 66 million years before the present, a far different suite of environments emerges. Rather than the dry conditions seen today, these lands were once much more lush, owing to a higher global temperature and unique geographic setting, which aided in the deposition of such a diverse fossil assemblage. To the west of the Hell Creek region existed the source of its sediment, the young Rocky Mountains. The Great Cordillera was still active in its infancy, rising in a sequence of uplifting known as the Laramide orogeny. Draining eastward from these highlands were rivers which carried loads of sediment. As their energy decreased, their paths began to meander and split, forming a lowland coastal plain. As rivers migrate, river bends which are cut off from their original source become oxbow lakes, creating areas of still water. Elsewhere throughout the floodplain, backwater swamps formed, comparable to those found in Louisiana today. Inhabiting these bodies of fresh water was a diverse aquatic fauna, which would not seem out of place in similar habitats throughout the modern American Southeast. Relatives of the extant garfish produce perhaps the most numerous fossils in the region in the form of their bony scales, which have a strong preservation bias due to their high durability and quantity per individual. Fragmentary pieces of shell belonging to turtles are also another incredibly common find throughout the Hell Creek, with relatives of the living softshell turtles occurring most frequently, distinguishable by their dimpled pattern. Also abundant are the remains of crocodilians, who shed and replace thousands of teeth in a single lifetime. At least 3 varieties call these waterways home. Both freshwater sharks and guitarfish patrol these rivers hunting for invertebrates and small fish. The teeth of the latter are durable and as a result quite common in these sediments. One notable outlier which lacks any living descendants is Camptosaurus, which convergently evolved a similar body plan and lifestyle to crocodilians. On the terrestrial realm, humid conditions allowed for a vibrant flora to thrive, with more recognizable plant communities having appeared only recently when compared to earlier Mesozoic ecosystems. Flowering plants were becoming increasingly common and diverse. For example, in the forest understory, one could find the ancestors of modern magnolias and laurels. At the ground level, ferns created meadows and patches of open space. The towering trees which created the local canopies were metasequoia, the dawn redwood, whose cones can be found preserved in iron siderite. These lands were subject to wet and dry seasons, with evidence of forest fires and floods being recorded in the geology of the Badlands. Amber deposits are frequently found in beds of lignite, or soft coal deposits, traces of these infernos. These rich, forested coastal plains were dominated by dinosaurs. Tyrannosaurus rex laid claim as the apex predator, hunting giant, multi-ton herbivores such as Triceratops and Edmontosaurus. Feasting on the ferns were the ankylosaurs, the walking tanks of the Cretaceous period. Hunting smaller prey were dromaeosaurs, such as Dakotaraptor and Acaroraptor, along with the varanoids, relatives of today's monitor lizards like the Komodo dragon. Scurrying in the undergrowth were a number of primitive lineages of small mammals, with the most numerous variety being the superficially rodent-like multituberculates. While their air-filled bones are delicate and rarely fossilized, many birds once inhabited this region, both archaic toothed birds and their edentulous relatives which would give rise to the feathered flyers of today. Swaying in the ocean breeze were palm trees, a helpful indicator of a subtropical climate. Their fruits and fronds can be found throughout the once coastal lands of late Cretaceous western North America. Eventually, fresh water from the rivers meets the warm salt water of the western interior seaway. Forming along the shoreline were a series of sandy barrier islands and embayments. Familiar faces swam through these shallow waters, such as sharks and sea turtles. Swimming alongside them were shelled ammonites, which funneled water through their siphons to propel themselves, all while trying to avoid the dominant marine predators, like the voracious fish, Xiphactinus, and the marine mosasaurs, apex ocean hunters descended from terrestrial lizards. These delicately balanced food chains collapsed suddenly as an extraterrestrial force impacted Earth and caused the death of over 70% of all living organisms in an event known as the KPG extinction, which paved the way for the rise of new life. Thank you so much for watching. I wanted to create this video as an introduction to the environment which once existed in a world now lost to time. Following this video will be a series of fossil hunting adventures, several of which take place in the Hell Creek Formation of Montana, so stay tuned.